I'm Connie Lee, founder and CEO of the Alliance to Cure Cavernous Malformation. I am so excited to tell you about everything that's happened in the last year and all of the exciting things that we're looking forward to in the year to come. One of the most exciting developments in the last year is that the Recursion REC 994 clinical trial, the phase 2 Sycamore trial, has completed enrollment. And what that means is that 60 of our members, of our patients, stepped up to participate in a one-year clinical trial testing the safety and the effectiveness of this new drug that's been designed especially for CCM. In addition to the REC 994 trial continuing and probably finishing next summer, we are looking at beginning a trial with Neurelis, a company that we've been working with closely for multiple years now. They are going to be trying a drug called a ROCK inhibitor, a ROCK kinase inhibitor, that they hope will also make a difference for our patients. Third, in clinical trials, we have a new partner. There are two companies called Ovid and Graviton that are developing another medicine specifically for CCM. And as you can tell, the gates are opening and we are becoming a topic that pharmaceutical companies are beginning to look at seriously. Because we have shown ourselves to be such good partners, they're now thinking that we are. In our last scientific meeting, we had some of the most exciting presentations that we have seen ever. The science is moving forward leaps and bounds. We heard presentations on gene therapy. Gene therapy work is now already happening in the laboratories on mice, but it started, and that I could not have said to you 2 years ago, and it started now in a big way just this month. We also heard about organoids. What are organoids? Organoids are cavernous malformations that are created from stem cells that closely resemble what is in a human brain. So these cavernous malformations are being developed as a way to quickly screen drugs. And this is something that we're looking forward to for next year, is facilitating the development of these organoids and helping them, probably financially, to be used to screen drugs for CCM, and then later on also to do head-to-head comparisons. We also heard about focused ultrasound, which has, again, taken a huge leap. It was discovered this year at UVA that focused ultrasound all by itself can help to prevent lesion growth in existing lesions. So in other words, if you apply focused ultrasound to a lesion that's already existing, it will not grow anymore in a mouse brain. The other thing that we saw, if focused ultrasound is applied early in development, before lesions have really had a chance to develop in the mouse brain, they don't develop in the areas that have received focused ultrasound. And that is huge. That for us has the potential, as this moves forward, to make an enormous difference for our patients. Another project that we've been working on is nanoparticles. We have been working with a university to develop a way to target medicines specifically to the lesions. We would like to be able to use stronger medicines without creating side effects. The way to do that is to target those medicines, encapsulate them, and target them directly at the lesions. The medicine doesn't go all over and create side effects, unwanted side effects in other body areas. It just stays and does what it's supposed to do in the lesion. So that's part of the work that we've been doing that we look forward to seeing more of over the coming year.
Hi, I'm Riley. I live in New York. I got involved with the Alliance to Cure Cavernous Malformations in 2017 when I was diagnosed myself. I am just so proud to be a part of this organization that helps patients like me, and hopefully one day we can find a cure. I love volunteering, and we've held some really great events in the past year. We held a great online art auction and some walks, and I'm really excited for what the future holds for us.
I'm Liz from Chicago. Earlier this year, I hosted a screening of Eloquent at a historic movie theater here in the city, and I continue to raise awareness for cavernous malformations until we find a cure. In the meantime, I'm an active participant on the Alliance Facebook patient group, and there I share my journey and connect with others living with this disease.
Is it important to fund research, particularly in cavernomas, and how will it affect things in the future? The way that we're going to find cures for these malformations are going to be limited by the speed with which research is done. And that fuel that drives the research is funding.
So the Alliance to Cure funding that was granted to one of our key collaborators has been really instrumental in our ultimate advancement and exploration into focus ultrasound for CCM treatment. We've been able to explore 2 different methods of focus ultrasound. We're able to explore sonodynamic therapy as a way to ablate the cells that are within the cavernoma and ultimately kill those cells. And the other one being blood-brain barrier opening with focus ultrasound, which allows us to hopefully enhance drug delivery to the CCMs. But we're also finding that this method can also help to control the growth of these lesions.
Many times, because we are the only ones hearing from all of the scientists, we know things before they do. And we understand their needs as a field better than they do, because they have their own lab that they're focused on, or maybe their few consortium partners. We have the big picture, and that puts us in a unique position to be able to identify what the gaps are ahead of time before the researchers maybe even know that they have gaps.
One of the great advantages of people and groups like this group that can fund some of the more risky, some of the more cutting-edge research means that we can make the kind of advances that you've seen here at these meetings and heard about in our publications.
Unfortunately, research is very expensive. All the components that are involved. So we have animal models that we are using typically in these studies, which maintenance of those models and creation of those models will take time as well as money to produce. We also are using MRI in these studies, which is really important to aid in the non-invasive approach that we're hoping to provide for patients. But that can also be an expensive technology to use. Focus ultrasound is also unfortunately expensive on the preclinical side as well. So by having donations, you're really helping to fund new, better treatment options.
This is something that's high risk, high reward. And the only way that these high risk early studies can happen is with the support of families, the support of interested individuals, the support of pilot studies that we so desperately need to make the research move forward.
We can only do it because we have the support of our members who are right there with us and know that the work that we're doing is valuable.
When we got to Penn for the screening appointment, we were greeted in the waiting room by Leah. She's the study coordinator. She was really nice and made me feel comfortable. She asked a lot of questions about my current symptoms and my medical history. Dr. Burkhart came in and asked if we had any questions. I asked a couple, then I signed the informed consent paperwork. After that, they took a urine and blood sample, and then I had an MRI. It was just like any other MRI. I think I fell asleep. After the MRI, I had an EKG, which just involved a few sticker things on my chest and staying still for a few minutes. They checked in again to see if I had any questions, and we headed home.
Funding research for CCM is important because knowing that there is a cure would make my life so much less stressful. Knowing that there's a greatly reduced chance of me having a stroke would just improve my quality of life tenfold.
My name is Trent Clayton, and I have CCM2. Growing up with a rare disease is very difficult, especially when you know the only treatment that you have is brain surgery. I think that researching new treatments is extremely important, especially for me, because it will allow me in the future to not have to worry about all of this and be able to live a more free life outside of it.
I'm Nadine in Redmond, Washington. I'm supporting the recognition of Harborview Medical Center as a cavernous malformation clinical center.
My name is Rachel Paprin. I am 29 years old from New Jersey. I had a sporadic cavernoma that was removed in 2019.
And I'm David from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm 45 years old, and I have a sporadic cavernoma in my brainstem as well.
The real question is, what has the Alliance not done for me? I think that they have provided support, information, just friends that I have gained, which I never thought I would have, including David. David is one of my closest friends, and it's so many inspirations and hearing so many different stories and learning so many things about cavernous malformation. The Alliance has been absolutely amazing.
I obviously had some neurological deficits after my bleed. The hardest thing for me, though, was the anxiety and the PTSD of potentially having another bleed, and finding the Alliance to Cure website for information, and finding the weekly support groups that they offer was probably the most important aspect of my recovery.
Yes, so the support group that I attend is every Thursday night, and it's been really helpful in my recovery, physically as well as mentally. Just talking to other people and knowing some things that they have done to help them have been great for me, and it's been a blessing again. I love it.
Meeting other people that are going through the same things, just everybody has really made me feel like family.
I would say to donors that your support is everything to us, and it's really what's going to drive us to find a cure and make sure that future generations don't have to deal with some of the things that we have dealt with and are currently dealing with.
Yeah, there seems to be so many exciting things happening right now with research and different medications going through clinical trials and stuff right now, and then it just gives me so much hope for the future, that maybe someday families won't have to deal with this stuff.
I'm Lindsay Ramirez, mother and wife of cavernous malformation patients. Our journey began about 6 years ago when my then 4-year-old son was diagnosed and had 2 craniotomies within a year of his diagnosis. As you can imagine, our world was flipped upside down, and we felt helpless and alone, with little information about the illness or how to help our son. While in the hospital, I got online and just started searching. And that's where I found the Alliance to Cure Cavernous Malformation community. I joined the group and was immediately flooded with support and encouragement. So much so that I remember breaking down into tears of relief just reading all the responses to my post. And between the support groups, patient conferences, educational materials that they put out, we know we are not alone in this fight, and that means everything to me. The support provided by the Alliance is invaluable, not only to my family, but the CCM community as a whole. We've created lifelong bonds with so many others dredging through this same journey. We cry together, we celebrate our wins together, and that's priceless. Any donation made today will have an immediate impact on the families that rely on community support to get through this journey. Every donation is a big donation, and I would encourage all watching to give if you are able. Words just can't explain the gratitude patients and families feel. Your donations give my son and all of us hope for a future without cavernous malformations.
This group really means a lot to me because the support that we get, you know, it's a lot different talking to your regular friends, but when you talk to people that actually have it, it really gets to your heart.
The support group lets me calm myself and discover whether my idea of crises are real crises or just blown out of proportion. Moreover, it shows me that I'm not alone, that we are all on this journey together.
Having tumors in your brain is not common. So it's really exciting to have other humans who get what we're going through, and therefore I am very grateful for a group that brings the entire world together.
I would like to say that I have appreciated finding this group. We all have different things going on. You can talk to anybody about anything. I learn stuff every week. It's just been very helpful and encouraging for me personally, and I know we all appreciate. I just love being here every week.
A lot of times your doctors do not understand what you have and what you're going through, but it's so nice to have this group because someone usually does, and they know exactly how it is to go through it, and you get answers.
I'm an older person, as you may see. I basically have no relatives or friends close by, and the support group has become my family. So yeah, it's really, really important, and if anyone can support it, it would be really, really helpful.
Really just the support group felt like a family to me, and that it made me feel like I wasn't alone, and I can't thank you enough.
You could exchange experiences and get advice how to handle things and get some answers to questions. And as many of your other has said before, that you could support each other and from several different parts of the world, and it feels really good to have the support and that you could talk to others.
The Alliance to Cure Cavernous Malformation is unique because I believe it's one of the only organizations that pairs patients together with researchers, scientists, and provides you everything from support groups to YouTube channels to vetted articles.
We really want to find a cure. We all want, if the cure can't be for us, we want them to be for our children. No one should have to go through this.
I think people should donate because it's not very well known and understood. It's like an infancy, and the more that people can donate and give will help.
Donate however much you want. It could be $1, it could be $5.
People think they have to make huge donations, and you know, even $5 makes a difference.
Your donations empower us to take control of this disease and give us hope that someday there might be a cure.
Patient education is a really important way that we can empower our community. One of the areas that we have educated our patients is about how the gut microbiome affects CCM health. Knowing that there is something you can do by changing your diet that has the potential to affect your brain health in the future and the health of your children's brains is incredibly empowering. And I know that myself and many people in our community are very grateful to the Alliance for providing that education.
Hi, I'm Dinah Winchester. My daughter Linnea has CCM3. She's almost 5. About 3.5 years ago, she had a big brain bleed, and that was when we learned about her CCM3 diagnosis. That was also when we learned about the Alliance to Cure, and when we connected with Connie, we found out about the link between diet and disease outcomes. And it has to do with inflammation in your body causing lesions to develop, and how your diet, like a diet that includes emulsifiers and additives, can actually exacerbate that inflammation. And so we have cut out all emulsifiers and additives, and we cook all the time, and it's actually very empowering. And I just made some popsicles, and I think they're going to be great. And Linnea will proudly walk around and tell anyone who will listen that she cannot have emulsifiers. I think she's proud of it, although it can be tough at times. But she's okay, and we're very, very grateful for the Alliance because she's doing great, and we're going to just keep doing what we're doing.
Hi, my name is Brittany McEwen. I live in Elkmont, Alabama. Whenever I was 14, I found out I have 2 cerebral cavernous malformations.
Your help has been critical in enabling us to develop more centers of excellence and more CCM clinical centers that are offering wonderful care to our patients. As part of the next year's activities, we will be updating the clinical care consensus guidelines. These are the standard of care that our CCM clinical centers and centers of excellence use to base their care for you. It standardizes what they do, and it can also be used anywhere else. They are out there for every physician in the country to be able to access and to learn about CCM. And we expect that when we finish in early 2024 with this revision, that they again will be published in a major journal and available to everyone who is practicing medicine. This year, we were also very, very proud to be the recipients of the Abby S. Myers Leadership Award bestowed on us by the National Organization for Rare Disorders. The Abby S. Myers Leadership Award is given to one patient advocacy organization each year. There are 2,000 rare disease patient advocacy organizations. 330 of them are members of the National Organization of Rare Diseases. And this year, we were the organization that was chosen, and we were very, very grateful. This year, we started a process of developing a patient-driven research roadmap. Now, what does that mean? That means that our patients are the ones who will be telling researchers what they want. So in order to determine what is best for patients, we're asking them. We sent out a very extensive survey in the last few months. We've taken all that information, put it together. We have sent a similar report to the clinicians at our centers of excellence and CCM clinical centers, and they have provided us with responses. And now we know what is important, and we shared this at our last scientific meeting. This is the first step in creating a patient-driven research roadmap. The next step is to talk with our researchers in a very, very serious way about which of their activities relates to the priorities that the patients and clinicians have expressed. And then what else needs to happen that can have an impact, that is important, And most importantly, that's feasible. That's feasible in the next 3 to 5 years. So this is a conversation that will happen over the course of the next year. And hopefully by the time we have our next scientific meeting, we will have a full-fledged research roadmap that was patient-driven. All of this progress is only possible because this has been a team effort. There has been no one person who has been able to make all of this possible. This is important. This is mission-driven work, and everyone on our staff right now is committed to pursuing the cure as quickly and efficiently as possible and really driving research forward the way we've seen in the last few years. It also requires our patients. Our patients connect through us, and they never have to feel alone. We know this. We have support groups, we have Facebook groups, we do one-on-one conversations with patients, we have our family conferences and local patient conferences. Our patients do not feel alone. They also give back, and they give back by participating in the patient registry and sharing their information, participating in clinical drug trials, participating with the surveys that we are now sending them on a pretty regular basis so that we have a better understanding of what patients need, but also what the patient experience is like. These families bring together their extended circles in ways that empower them, that help them to feel like they are making a difference, but that also in the end benefit all of us because of the funds and awareness that they are able to raise.
I decided to host a fundraising event, a wine tasting that I have every year in Torrington. We decided this about 9 years ago when we discovered that my granddaughter had multiple cavernous malformations. She inherited it from her mother, who inherited it from me. We got the familial form.
I'm Melinda Wilson, and we together, our family, started this organization about 2 or 3 years ago that we call L's Angels Atlanta. Elle is 10 years into this disease.
Connie had reached out to me once before to join the board, so I called her back and said, I'm ready to join the board. I need to do something, want to find help for my granddaughter. I don't want her to have to go through what I've gone through.
We just felt like we couldn't sit back anymore and just spectate.
My owning a company, I have a lot of contacts, and this is a small town, so we know a lot of people, and they know a lot of people, the in-laws. So we decided that a wine tasting would be a perfect way to have a fundraiser.
Our support would make an impact. It would make a difference. We knew that we couldn't raise millions upon millions to impact a trial, but we knew that by supporting the Alliance to Cure, that we were getting behind the powerhouse that was going to move the research forward.
My main goal was to help to find a treatment and to find a cure. Unfortunately, my granddaughter had a lesion that had grown to the size of a golf ball, so she ended up having to have surgery when she was very young, and we really need to find a different way to treat this.
We have a party every year. We have a fundraiser. It's called the Holy Smokin' Barbecue Bash. It works well with L's Angels, Foundation. We hold it at our beautiful cathedral where we've been members since we moved to Atlanta.
Hosting an event, I was very nervous at first. I was never one to ask for money. I am a very, normally a shy person. So to go out and do this, it was very difficult for me. But once I started talking to people, and especially I started with the people who know me, people from around town, people that I work with, and everyone thought it would be a great idea and they would love to be involved. And so we started reaching out to more and more people, and people are really generous, especially if they know it's going to a cause for someone that they know or are affiliated with. And it became easier and easier to ask money because most everyone says, of course I will donate, of course I want to be a part.
If you look in your communities, especially if you're in a major market like we are of Atlanta, I go to events all the time, and these fundraisers are raising anything from, the most modest $300,000 up to $1 million an evening on these fundraisers. I think we have the potential to do that. It is second nature to put everything we have behind our efforts to raise money for Alliance to Cure.
I would like to thank each and every one of you for watching today and for the trust that you place in us. We have come so far toward the cure for CCM, and we do expect to have better treatments by 2025 and a cure by 2030. Thank you.
No matter where we are across the country, we're a community committed to one idea.
And that is being part of the cure for cavernous malformation.
From Colorado.
From Florida.
From Southern California.
To Maine. How can you help?
Join the new patient registry like I did.
I'm participating in a clinical trial.
You can hold a fundraiser like me.
And we reached out to legislators.
I hosted a virtual fundraiser.
I donated to help fund research.
The community is more empowered than ever.
Now is the time for you to take action.
Will you become part of the cure?
For my family here in Oregon.
And mine in Missouri.
I'm ready. Together, we will create a future without cavernous malformations.